What's up, guys? This is your friendly neighborhood extreme Spidey guy here, and today I'm going to be doing a movie review, and this will be the series finale of the Ghostbusters movie reviews leading up to Ghostbusters Firehouse. Depending on how the strike goes, I've heard the writer's strike is ending, thankfully, but the actor's strike is probably still continuing, if it is true or not, but we'll see what happens, and that film is for none other than 2021's Ghostbusters Afterlife. Not directed by Ivan Reitman, but directed by his son, Jason Reitman. So, how was this movie made? Well, a third Ghostbusters movie was in development since the release of Ghostbusters 2, but production stalled because Murray refused to return to the series after cast member Harold Ramis died on February 24th, 2014. Sony produced a female-driven reboot that was released in 2016, which was abysmal. In 2019, Jason Reitman confirmed a sequel to the original film. The new cast was announced in July, and the original cast signed on 2 months later. Filming took place from July to October. This was the final film to be produced and involved the franchise's co-writer Ivan Reitman before his death in February 2022. Produced by Columbia Pictures in association with Braun Creative, Ghostbusters Afterlife screened and unassociated during the CinemaCon event in Las Vegas on August 23rd, 2021, and was then released in the US on November 19th, after being delayed 4 times from an original July 2020 date due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The film received critical praise for the cast's performance, Reitman's direction, and nostalgic tone, and its respectful tribute to Ramis, which was handled much better here than in that god-awful Ghostbusters remake from 2016, with criticism mostly being directed towards its screenplay and fan service. It grossed $200.4 million worldwide against a production budget of $75 million. A sequel is set to be released on March 29th, 2024. So, what's the story for this movie? Well, when a single mother and her 2 children move to a new town, they soon discover they have a connection to the original Ghostbusters and the secret legacy their grandfather left behind. So, what are my thoughts on this movie? This movie would have to be one of my favorite movies from 2021, and probably the real Ghostbusters movie that we should have had in 2016. Carrie Coon definitely does an awesome job playing Callie Spengler. Finn Wolfhard definitely does an awesome job as Trevor Spengler. McKenna Grace definitely does an awesome job as Phoebe Spengler. Paul Rudd definitely does an awesome job as Gary Gooberson, and I also do enjoy his performance as Ant-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Logan Kim definitely does an awesome job as Podcast. Kelsey O'Connor definitely does an awesome job as Lucky Domnigo. Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, Annie Potts, and Sigourney Weaver are definitely awesome as always, as Peter, Raymond, Winston, Janie, and Dana. And this movie definitely knows how to respect Harold Ramis in the right way than in that god-awful Ghostbusters film from 2016. And this film is honestly the true Ghostbusters movie that we should have had in 2016. The visual effects are definitely awesome in this film. And this movie does know how to give out fan service in the right way and not trying to nostalgia bait. And it's not trying to make us believe that how much we love the first Ghostbusters. Um, I know it's like a legacy sequel, like with later on with Top Gun Maverick and others, and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. So the film starts off in Somerville, Oklahoma. Egon Spangler creates an entity into oculist Eva Chandler's mind outside the town and lures another to his farm. He activates an elaborate setup on his property, but the power fails and manages to conceal the ghost trap in his home before being attacked by the creature and suffering a fatal heart attack. Egon's estranged, financially struggling daughter Callie inherits the farm and moves to there with her children. Trevor and Phoebe, after being evicted from their Chicago apartment, Trevor becomes infatuated with car hop Lucky Domnigo, and the scientifically minded Phoebe enrolls in a summer science class taught by semiologist Gary Guberson. And like I said, I also do love Paul Rudd as Ant-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as well. Phoebe discovers the farmhouse is haunted and the poltergeist is residing in its leads. It leads her to the ghost trap, which she shows to Gary and her new friend podcast. Gary, a fan of the Ghostbusters, helps her learn more about them and her grandfather. He, Phoebe, and podcast tamper with the trap, releasing one of Gozer the Gozerian Sentinels, which he escapes to the mine. The farm ghost leads Phoebe to Egon's underground laboratory, who, after revealing himself as her grandfather, guides her in restoring the Ghostbusters equipment. And the gadgets are definitely awesome as always in the movie. While testing the proton pack with podcast, Phoebe finds a ghost they call Muncher, voiced by Josh Gad, that haunts Shandor's foundry and flees to the town, having repaired the Ghostbusters Cadillac Ecto-1's engine with Egon's help. Trevor uses the car to chase Muncher with the pair. They capture it but are arrested for the damage incurred, and their equipment is seized. Using the Ghostbusters telephone that number that she has written down, Phoebe contacts Ray Stantz and informs him of Egon's death. He turns in he tells her what became of the Ghostbusters after they defeated Vigo the Carpathian. After the Ghostbusters had disbanded, Egon took off the equipment and moved to Somerville to pursue an unexpected threat. Egon's ghost leads Callie to a wall of detailed notes and pictures he kept of his daughter's life, showing he cared about her more than she thought. Phoebe podcast Lucky and Trevor find a Gozerian temple within the mine. Exposing further, they discover Shandor is alive and is in casket. They automated proton cannons installed by Egon hinder Gozer's attempts to cross over. Zool and Vince Cortho possesses Callie and Gary, respectively, and destroy Egon's equipment, allowing Gozer to escape. Shandor weakens and pledges his fealty to Gozer, but is killed nevertheless. The children discover Egon's setup is an array of ghost traps and is buried around the dirt field. With supernatural chaos distracting the town, the Neophyte Ghostbusters is recovered the seized equipment and head to the mine. Phoebe distracts Gozer so Podcast can recapture Zool, freeing Callie and weakening Gozer's physical form. They lure him to the trap field, but malefications in Gozer frees Zool, who possesses Lucky and fully restores Gozer's power. Ray and the other surviving original Ghostbusters, Peter Vankam and Winston Zedmore, arrive to help. And Gozer, after having already killed Egon, seeks to complete its revenge against the quartet for vanquishing it. Supported by Egon, now somewhat visible ghost, Phoebe battles Gozer with Grandfather's proton pact. The Ghostbusters help Phoebe restrain him by crossing their proton streams while Trevor uses his charge the trap's power source, allowing Callie to activate the ghost traps and capture Gozer and its minions. Lucky and Gary are freed from their possessions, and Egon reclines with his family and friends before passing on to their hereafter. Later, the original Ghostbusters return to New York, and Peter is revealed to be married to Dana Barrett. Winston, having become a wealthy entrepreneur and family man since leaving the Ghostbusters, returns to the fully restored Ecto-1 to the Ghostbusters firehouse. In the basement, a light on the ecto-contaminant unit begins flashing red. And the climax of the movie is definitely awesome in this movie as well. And the music is still awesome as always in the film. And Gozer is definitely still an awesome antagonist as always. Now, are there any bad qualities I have with this film? Absolutely not, and here's how I'm gonna rate it. I am going to give Ghostbusters Afterlife a full solid 10 out of 10. So tell me your thoughts on Ghostbusters Afterlife. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's okay? Do you think it's overrated? Just let me know in the comments below. And probably after I see Ghostbusters Firehouse or not, I will be doing a ranking video of all the Ghostbusters films from best to worst. So until next time, I'll see you all later.